Hey, everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 438 for January 5th, wait for it, 22.
22.
Those.
Yay! The first show of a brand new year, and we're missing Patrick Connor, so if I seem a little distracted, I'm trying to get Patrick on here, and for some reason, the link isn't working. Back on original one. Okay, well, Casey, whatever help you can offer there, thank you so much. So anyway, my name is Russell Frost. I am the host of this slowly sinking boat. Look at these wonderful panelists. Let me introduce the ones that I'm lucky enough to have here, and we'll go on from there. Right next to me, at least on my screen, with a prominent cattail, Georgia McKenzie.
Yeah, I don't know, Odo. I think Odo decided that this is his year. So you're going to get this tail.
This is my year, yo.
I'm never going to argue with Odo.
You can't argue with a cat.
No,
Hey, everybody. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. Happy New Year. And welcome to the show.
Welcome, welcome. Next to her on my screen is my friend from Canada and host of the Tesla Life, Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. And yeah, it's a new year already. Man,
Wow.
soon we'll turn around and 2022 will be gone. So enjoy it while you can.
I'm already excited for 2023. Already excited. Next to him, of course, again on my screen, wearing Tesla red as well. Is that a coincidence or not?
It's a coincidence. These are stripes.
Mr. Casey Green.
Yeah, last time I was wearing the Star Trek red shirt, but
Oh, and I didn't notice that. How did we not have you killed at some point during the episode? I mean, that is the whole
Indeed.
purpose of being a red shirt, isn't it?
that's right. That are being in command. So today we're looking at we dug ourselves out from the snow, and it's coming right back tomorrow.
Oh, you snowing over there?
It was, and it will be. And then, of course, Paul had it worse with fire and snow.
Yeah.
Not me personally.
Not you personally, but your area.
Well, thank you for that segue, Casey Green. He is the founder and owner of Boulder Hybrids in Boulder, Colorado, who luckily did not burn last week, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Yes, I'm glad I'm here. It's a pretty scary day, though. 100-mile-an-hour winds, and
Wow.
our shop lost power, but we're all okay. But 1,000 people lost their homes, which kind of sucks, including one of my employees, unfortunately.
Oh,
Wow,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I was complaining about a 5-hour outage. That's worse.
Yeah, so he did manage to escape in his Model 3, though. So
Excellent.
Wow.
he saved the car and the family.
Well,
Because the bank will still come for it.
yeah, yes, it's in the driveway. You can take it.
But just, if you're in an area where disasters can happen, listen to the warnings. If the authorities say get the hell out, because had this happened at 2 a.m. when everyone was asleep, it would have been a really ugly situation. So
Yeah.
Yep.
And to pile on that, if it's like tomorrow or 2 days from now, that's your reminder to plug in your car.
Yeah.
Just in case you're not somebody who just leaves it plugged in all the time, which is the recommendation to always leave it plugged in.
Living in California, you kind of grow up with disaster preparedness. And my friend Ellen on Twitter, who's I think outside of Houston, and hey, they've had some kind of winter hijinks in the past. She just posted a
This
thing
week?
today where she's got water containers, a propane stove, some lanterns, and I'm like, that is so smart because it's obvious stuff. It's cheap now. Go buy it.
Yeah.
Stockpile it. If you need it, great. If you don't need it, it wasn't money wasted. Because
And most of it's got a good shelf life.
yeah, it's just
Yeah, I don't think
Says the guy.
propane goes bad. But,
yeah, I don't think so. Although
but
maybe.
speaking of propane, Russell,
Speaking of burning gas, our first story tonight, thank you, Paul Kuzik, segues into his own news story. We go into Paul's story about why cooking with gas ain't so cool anymore.
yeah, it's kind of interesting how politics play with what kind of stove you have. There's a movement in all the blue states to ban natural gas for cooking and heating in new construction, including New York City. So if a fancy new condo tower goes up on Park Avenue, they can't have gas stoves anymore. They can have electric stoves, and they have to have electric heat pumps instead of gas-powered boilers to heat the building. So that's all great. Obviously, the gas industry is kicking and screaming about it, and in red states like Texas and everything, guess what? They're having laws written to prevent the censorship of gasoline-powered appliances. Surprise, surprise. Article I referenced, and we can put a link in it, Russell or Casey. Basically the states that we're familiar with, California, New York, Massachusetts, Washington, are all starting to ban gasoline. Now, if you have an old home that's had gas for 50 years, you can keep it. They're not going to come and rip it out. But with the advances in technology, heat pumps, electric-powered heat pumps are very efficient. And the nice thing about electricity, as we all know, it can come from many sources, mostly renewable nowadays. And that's a good thing. And I'm actually looking for my condo to get an induction-powered stove, which apparently has as much control as a natural gas stove. And a lot of chefs say, oh, I want gas for the control. But apparently the induction stoves have more control. And some of the models even have little blue LEDs that simulate the flames.
Now, the induction here, we're talking true induction, not that red-eye garbage that likes to sell itself as if it were induction.
No, this is real induction where you have to have a ferrous pan.
Ferrous pan, yeah.
Yeah, but I've been doing some research on it, and it looks very efficient and very much control as a gourmet chef, which I'm not, but may want to have. So,
indeed.
So depending where you live, you may or may not be able to have gasoline or not natural gas powered appliances.
Yay, burning less fossil fuel.
My house in South Carolina is solar powered, but it's in a natural gas neighborhood, so I have to have a natural gas line and appliance to go in there. And so for us, we chose the on-demand water heater, and we chose to unfortunately we do the red eye because it was cheap.
Right.
But we also had the tabletop inductions, which we used exclusively because they use less energy, you get more control, and they're just more efficient altogether. Mm-hmm. And in this house is a rental, so it's all gas, water, heat, stove, all of it, even the oven, which makes your cookies taste. Ugh. But what I noticed is that we've got an air quality monitor on each level, and the minute that thing comes on, if the exhaust fan is not on the microwave hood, the micro hood, the air quality drops by 10 points at a minimum. The minute the thing turns on, and the air wafts across the floor, and then it only continues to drop as long as that is not on. It's terrible.
Yes, it can be, definitely.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for that, Paul. Let me introduce Patrick Connor, who we have not seen in some weeks. Happy New Year, Patrick. He's here.
Happy New Year.
Patrick.
Happy to be back. I miss you guys. This is a fun time.
We missed you as well. Glad you could make it. And I'm sure we'll be fighting about something in about 30 seconds.
So not a good show unless we do.
Exactly. Thank you. So confrontation in 3, 2. Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Has the next story, and although I'm sure Mark will touch on it in his This Week in Tesla, it's certainly worth mentioning on its own. So, Georgia, what's going on with this Tesla company?
Well, it seems Tesla is having a little bit of a recall. 200,000 cars in China. They're recalling 19,697 imported Model S sedans, 35,836 Model 3s, also imported, and 144,208 Chinese-made Model 3s for collision risks. And that's also on top of a recall of 356,000 Model 3s and 119 Model S vehicles in the U.S. for rear view camera and trunk problems. So it's kind of what's interesting to me is how under the radar this recall was, because I honestly wouldn't have known about it, except I get alerts. It's not like I really pay attention to Tesla as a focus, but yeah, my alerts are set to EV news and sustainability news. So I literally get like a ton of stuff in my feed. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of cars.
If there's ever a bad news story for Tesla, everybody gets an alert because
Yeah.
it seems that the media is really focused on that.
Well, but I haven't seen anything, like I didn't really read anything except in niche papers. I didn't see anything like that. It was somebody else talking about it that made me go, well, let's go look at the details, because they said it was something like half the cars that they've sold over their lifetime. That could be wrong. So that's why I was like, let's bounce that to the experts here, the Teslarati that we have right here.
I was glad to see that other than the stock groups, the ones that have an interest in seeing this company fail, because the timing of this right at the end of the quarter was not good for Tesla. But I was glad to see they treated it like every other recall. 500,000 Ford trucks where the drive shaft could drop down and give you a pole vault. Not a word. So the beauty of this, what I liked most was the one for the rearview camera recall. Is in the administration, the agency that was in charge of handling the recall, they basically said, oh yeah, just do this. In the meantime, the one that is a little more concerning, but thankfully is also affecting less cars, and as you mentioned, in China as well, because all the Model S's and X's come from Fremont. So if they built them different for China, then I would feel some kind of way. And so it goes to show that when they say that they have one thing for the world, except for what side the steering wheel's on, it further proves it true. So what that one is the secondary latch for the hood might not be aligned correctly. And so if you somehow have overridden the ability to open the hood while the car is in motion, which the software won't let you do by any means, and for some reason the main latch has failed, then the secondary latch might not be holding on to the hood tightly. And so at that point, it presents the risk that the wind could catch your hood and blow it up. And so what they're going to do for this one is the technicians will look at your car, see if it's aligned correctly, and if it's not, they'll adjust that until they get a good connection from the secondary latch as well. And as I said, with the rear view camera, it's just a simple matter of go old school, look over your shoulder, and with that one is the case of they use solid core wiring, and on some of the cars, the wire routing is too tight. And so what happens is over hundreds of trunk open and close cycles, solid core wire fatigues and breaks. So then once it's broken, you can't get the signal from the camera to the screen. So they're going to adjust that for the cars that are wound too tightly, and they'll make them wind less tightly, or if they've already broken, they will get you a new part.
Yeah, long story short, the reason you're not hearing a whole lot about it is this is mostly a nothing burger. There's a lot of recalls all the time. These are minor things that they're going to fix. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
and the whole collision warning is really just the rear view camera could go out and
you could run over a
back
kid
into something.
Or back into something, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the calling it a collision risk is just trying to make a nice headline that gets some clicks.
Right, and then even in that case, your backup sensors are still functional, so you'll hear it beeping, and you just have to figure out why it's beeping at that point. You just won't see, oh yeah, there's a bike, or hey, there's a kid, or a wall. But when I went over this, I was surprised to see the timeline of how they did it. Like, they discovered these things, and very quickly they went into a diagnostic to find out how many cars it affects and what the root cause was. And then they immediately went through and notified the government in both the U.S. and China to go ahead and remedy the situation, to make sure that folks know, hey, you got to look over your shoulder, or worse, hey, make sure that hood is all the way closed just in case. And it looks like both of these can be solved by mobile if they have mobile in your region, and if not, you'll have to make a nice little trek to the service center to get it.
Well, it's typical for headlines and stuff like that to make it sound like basically this is a Pinto situation. So no, you're not going to tap a bumper and the whole car is going to explode.
Right. Well, because even worse with the Pinto and the Suzuki Samurai and a couple of other cars they've just piled on, they really. Well, not all of them, but most of them really weren't that bad. Like the Corvair, they had to do some extra stuff to make that car flip. And same with Samurai.
It just wasn't styling, and that really was the recall reason.
Just for a second, let's present another side to this.
Okay.
if Ford had to recall half the cars they'd built just in the last 5 years
Oh wait, they did.
for minor things, would it be a nothing burger?
Yeah, they did, and we heard nothing of it.
Yeah, so it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
As long as they do the right thing. If they do the bull crap where they cover it up and they say, oh, it's only going to be $10,000 per seat to pay it back, and as long as they do the correct thing, I'm cool with it.
Recall repairs to Goodwill.
As long as it gets fixed, I don't care. But if they hide it and they try to figure out how much each life is worth, or they say, oh, maybe not even that. Oh, nobody will notice. That's when they're in the wrong, and that's when they deserve the pitchforks. But if they do the right thing and they follow all the steps and they notify everybody, they've done their root causes, and they've done it before anybody's even experienced it. Then
keep in mind, there's 300,000 Model 3s that are being recalled. They expect the problem to exist in 1% of those cars.
Yep.
I'm just, I have.
And in the case I pointed out with the Fords where the drive shaft can break and launch the car in the air, they also did the right thing. So I'm not mad at Ford either.
And as for diagnosis for going through 300,000 cars, if you have to schedule an appointment, you go there, but it's easy as you pop the trunk, you look at the slack in the cable, and if there's enough slack, there's not an issue. Close the trunk, car leaves.
Yep, and then with the hoods, if you open the hood and you only see one bite mark instead of 2 bite marks, then oops, got to adjust that second latch.
Yeah.
I mean, all the major car companies have tons of recalls. And,
all the time.
Yeah, because they're rushing stuff to get to the market. They're hoping it won't bite them, but then they start hearing about failures out in the wild, and they say, well, we better fix this. And
they're built by people. People are not 100%. So
no, they're built by an alien dreadnought.
Although, one thing I'm surprised that
didn't work, Russell.
Casey, you said they use solid core wire. That's a no-no in automotive. You should always
absolutely it's not
because
exactly.
Imagine a paper clip bending
before that it snaps. Yeah,
but if you have 50 small strands of wire, they can all flex and bend, and you always use stranded wire.
Exactly.
Never solid core. So maybe their supplier for stranded core was out of stock, and that's the only way they could ship cars that month or whatever.
Perhaps, or maybe it's been fine on the hatchback cars for all this time, and all of a sudden you get a car with a real trunk and it moves a lot more, and all of a sudden now it's a problem.
Yeah,
like you said, solid core, it's just like a paperclip. It breaks.
That was a dumb engineering choice.
It was.
Signed off on that.
Yep.
It was. But the crap, I forgot where I was going with that. Go on, I'm sorry.
I also thought the timing was very convenient.
That it happened at the end of the quarter where it could hurt them?
Mm-hmm.
Think again. What else? What else happened? What else?
Oh, right after they had a really good news with their yet again record-setting sales.
I'm going to get you pom-poms.
It was a holiday vacation.
I'm going to get you some pom-poms to go with that cheerleader outfit. No, I mean, come on. Let's be realistic. How many billions of dollars worth of stock did Elon complete selling by December 29th?
10 billion.
Yeah.
But the stock was up throughout most of the days of the recall.
Okay.
Yeah. It's down yesterday and today, but that's another story.
That's always the way that works. Somebody announces a recall and their stock goes up.
Yeah. So this is going to cost us this much money. Hopefully we had it in the warranty kitty.
Not a response to the question that I put forward, but I understand, and that's fine.
And I know in the Toyota space, when you go to the dealer to have your recall performed for free, they magically find all this other stuff that your car needs while you're in the Oh, while you're here, your timing chain cover's leaking, so we can fix that for $60. So the dealers kind of like it as a way to get the customer in the door to upsell them stuff.
That might explain the stock, because they're about to have a service uptick. Good idea.
At least that's how the traditional automakers look at recalls.
Yeah, but if they hide it and they say, oh, if you only have 4 keys on your keyring, who has 6 keys on their keyring? Or it's only going to be $1 million per family to pay this off, that's when we should be raising a big stink about this. But for the guys that do all the right stuff, like Ford in this case and Tesla in this case, get the notice out for anybody who may have one of these cars, and then applaud them for doing the right thing.
Well, let's go to the next story. Speaking of dealer malfeasance, Casey has a wonderful example from a company that I just mentioned, by the way.
Yeah. So, let me share the screen on this one.
No, you can't.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Okay, yeah, you can. No, I don't care.
Okay, so I've got two right here. The first one is this one here is a tweet from Ross Gerber with him and Mike Levine. Mike Levine says, hey, if you're ordering a new vehicle, it's recommended customers get a selling price when the order is placed. This is in response to some of the dealerships are putting market adjustments on the car. And Ross responds with, it's a sad day when Ford has to warn their own customers about Ford dealers gouging their EV customers, or all customers. Ford can never reach their goals with a dealer network with no ethics. And then, let me close this one and go to the
And
next
Ford's
response.
stock went up.
Well, it probably will, but...
It did.
Okay, good. All right, so then here's the second part. So he's responding to a tweet from Mike, who is a C-suite employee for Ford. He says, deja vu all over again with Ross. Tesla can't deliver its $10,000 FSD to customers who paid for it in 2016. Don't worry, though. We'll see 1 million robotaxis on the road by the end of 2020. Sad day indeed. Keep up the ethics listers. And then, Ross responds with, hey, I've got it. But then there are some more responses explaining that, what it is the attitude of the C-suite employee. And, hey, maybe you can focus on other people.
Let's be realistic, though, Casey. I mean, Ross Gerber's the biggest fucking paid shill on the internet.
I would have liked it to have been somebody else that he did it, but Mike has been doing this.
Hold on. Tesla supporter and stockholder who's benefited greatly from Tesla stock. So he engages somebody who, whatever, about Mike Levine. I mean,
well, okay,
you could have almost not picked a worse person to counter that.
Just because he's biased doesn't mean he's wrong.
Yes, it does.
No,
It means he is wrong.
That he made. No, it doesn't. If you made that statement that Ford telling people to get things in writing from dealers because they can't be trusted, that's a problem. It doesn't matter who said it.
Right.
Well, wait a second. You flipped this around. I don't even understand. Ford, the company.
You're saying it wrong.
Hold on. Ford, the company, is not. We've had this discussion millions of times on what drives us. Dealers, franchise dealer networks are shitty and they're horrible and they're not necessarily accountable to OEMs. Ford, the company, for the first time comes out and slaps the crooked ass dealers that are marking up their cars.
Well, they had, but then see, here's what the Ford said.
Reaches out to their customers directly.
Ford said if you ordered your Bronco or your Mach-E or your Mustang, your Mach-E or your Ford Lightning pickup truck, if you'd ordered it before XYZ date, then you're covered. And now Mike is saying, hey, did you get it in writing? It's going to make my job easier if did you get it in writing.
I don't understand how Ford helping their customers is a bad thing.
No, it's Ford.
Ford shouldn't have to help their customers. If they said if you order by X date, you're good.
You shouldn't have to fight with people denying vaccinations, right? There's lots of shouldn'ts. I'm saying Ford here is totally in the right.
So yes, to continue on this,
it's a really crappy system, just like we've said.
Yeah. So around the corner from me at Coons Ford in where is this? Woodbridge, Fairfax, wherever we are. They marked up a Mach-E by $30,000, and they only came back off of it because they said, "Oh, we sent that email out by mistake." This was a 3-page email. You didn't write that email on error. You wanted that $30,000. The mistake was that you got caught, and it's not just Coons Ford. And it's not just Ford dealers. It's not just
Ford. No one is defending Ford dealers. No one.
It's not just Ford dealers. We have another example of a Mercedes dealership that marked up the Mercedes EQS by $100,000. So instead of a $160,000 car, it's now a $265,000 car. Plus all the bull crap they're going to add to it, like undercoating and replacing stuff that didn't need replacing as far as accessories are concerned.
So let me get this straight. Russell, your point is dealers suck. Yes. Casey, your point is dealers suck.
Yes.
Former dealer,
you agree.
Russell just doesn't like the person agree. Making the correct point.
But what we
honestly, look,
ahead,
broken
Georgia.
Clock, right twice a day. I mean, yeah, he may be a shill, but this is correct because right now, if the dealership is actually bouncing up the cost of a vehicle, and Casey will be talking about that later on because that is bullshit. Ford has every right to say, hey, these dealers are crooks. Make sure you get it in writing so you pay the right sticker price.
Yeah. I mean, and when I was selling cars, I worked at a couple of dealerships that did do these market adjustments, and you lose customers over this over time. Once the stock comes back, they like, oh, those are those criminals over there that
Yeah.
you make a lot of money when you sell a car for pure sticker.
It's real simple. Ford can say, if you get caught doing this, we're only going to allocate you one F-150 Lightning.
I don't know that they can.
Which is worse than that, though.
Well,
they
play all kinds of games with allocation. Like if you sell this many
absolutely.
that, you get to sell this many.
Oh, I'm sorry. All your Mustangs are pink.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem for Ford. People aren't going into these dealerships and going, oh, it's not really Ford doing this. It's these guys. No,
Right.
They're saying, hey, Ford is completely ramming me hard and
Right.
not in a pleasant way after a meal.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
this is bad.
That big logo out there says Ford. It doesn't say your local dealership.
Right.
Yeah.
And the worst part about this particular local dealership is they before they called it an error and walked it back and all this crap, they were going a step further and saying, oh, by the way, we're going to tell Ford that you changed your mind and canceled this reservation, rather than letting you pull it back and take it to a store that's got some ethics about them. Oh, we're going to tell them you didn't want it. We're going to keep the car. We're going to sell it to somebody else for the extra $30,000. Now they're only $10,000 if you were after that date, but still. Only $10,000 over sticker. If I sold a car for sticker, I only need to do that 2 or 3 times a month. I didn't have to mark it up extra.
And speaking of stickers, a big thank you to Derek for his sticker on the What
Absolutely,
Drives
sorry.
page. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Derek.
Oh, thank you, Derek. I didn't even see because I'm too busy arguing here. Listen, Ross Gerber's the biggest pile of shit on Twitter.
That's why I hoped it was somebody else, but the point was when I brought it up.
The point is stupid. Again, the thing is, here's Ford is copping to the fact that a lot of their dealers are horrible people and warning their customers. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, and it should scare dealers a little bit. It should say, hey, you know what? The OEM isn't going to always be quiet while we're assholes and rip off customers. There's nothing bad about what Mike Levine did until Ross decided to jump in and go, oh, Ford dealer.
Part of the problem was that people did have signed papers. People did have signed papers from their dealership, but what got Mike into that was that they didn't have a price on it. And some of them, when you try to pin them on a price, they won't do it. And once your reservation lands at one of these places, you're screwed.
Yes, you are.
No, I mean, I
but
think
your reservation wasn't with so and so. Your reservation was with Ford.
Because a lot of people think the dealers are ethical, even though none of them are, or very few of them are.
Very few of them are.
But it's kind of nice that Ford's saying, hey, get it in writing, get someone to sign it, because it's going to cover your butt. You know?
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, speaking of great advice, let's go to Mark Coughlin and This Week in Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
This Week in Tesla is all about record breaking.
Uh-oh.
So as we know, quarter 4 has just ended, and it looks like Wall Street took Elon Musk's email a little bit too literally. They thought that based on the email he sent out to employees that, hey, we're not going to push real hard at the end of the quarter to get every last vehicle out. What we'd like you to do is be more efficient. So we're not spending express shipping. We're not running around like crazy, running extra hours, overtime, trying to push every last vehicle out. Why don't we just wait the extra week or two it would actually take, and the machine itself will be far more efficient. It'll cost Tesla less money, and we get the sale next quarter. It's not like the sale disappears. So Elon had sent that out to the company, all the company employees. Of course, everything is leaked that Elon sends, either purposely or not purposely. And the rest of the world got a hold of it. And Wall Street thought, hey, this is code to say Tesla isn't going to sell as many vehicles as they typically would. So we believe there's going to be down pressure on the number of cars that Tesla sells. Well, that couldn't have been further from the truth because Tesla, in their fourth quarter, pushed out 420,000 and change vehicles, production and deliveries. So it was a great quarter, a record quarter. and it pushed, of course, the stock higher. What was even more impressive was that the year-end totals now pushed it into a 936,000 sales, and that, of course, is another record. And this, of course, is even before Gigafactory Berlin and Texas come online, which should be this month. So that will spur the growth of Tesla even further.
This will be their million vehicle year, buddy. Yeah.
Yep. And even as a side bet, the three of us, Casey, myself, and Patrick, talked about the numbers that were going to happen this year. I don't know what that garbling noise was, Russell. It wasn't me.
I thought you were playing Gore in the background. I didn't know you were into
That was
throat
me.
metal.
Sorry,
now.
my other screen.
But what happened was that Patrick came up the winner. He guessed 900,000, and of course 936 was closest without going over because we were playing Price's Right rules, so can't go over. So yeah, congratulations to Patrick on his guess, and we're thinking next year we're going to be somewhere in the range of 1.4 to 1.8 million. With the other two factories opening up. So another big jump is coming in 2022.
Do we want to make predictions now?
Yeah.
We've already made them on the Tesla Life show. But
write these down after it.
What would you guys like to do? I'll add you to the spreadsheet guest list.
Well, recap where you guys are at, please.
Well, I'll let you know that we are somewhere within the range of 1.45 million to 1.8 million. That's the range that people have pushed.
Didn't somebody put 2.2?
I'll take the under.
Oh yeah, but that was kind of crazy.
I'll take the under.
You want to bid $1, Bob?
No. I'm not being silly. I'm not being ridiculous. I'm just saying, like, whatever your bottom number was, 1.3.
1.45.
I'll go 1.3.
So Russell is a 1.3. Paul, what do you think?
We're
coming to you next, Georgia.
Yeah. I'd say 1.38.
1.38 is Paul. And
Derek
Georgia,
is down for
what do you
1.25.
Oh man, about all I ever predict is what I'm going to eat next week.
Well, you can go with that. How much would that cost?
Let me see. So
Derek says 1.5 million, or 1.25 million.
I'd like to thank JT to stop stealing my easy numbers. Thank you.
That's what I picked too.
God.
You can
have
have
say
it.
1.47.
1.47 for Georgia. GT at 1.5. Derek at 1.25.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Pardon my interruption, Mark, please.
Well, that was it. It's basically a good news story for the end of the quarter. Glad to see they're growing. Glad to see cars are still rolling out, and looking forward to the 2 new gigafactories opening up, start pumping out that Model Y in mass amounts, which, of course, will quickly become the best-selling vehicle for Tesla. You get another 2 factories pushing out a line of Model Ys, and that's definitely going to happen. So that will happen early in 2022 would be our guess.
Also, we might see a handful of geometric trucks hit at Christmas time.
There you go. Well, thank you so much.
And I will touch on one thing that's not Tesla. Kudos to GM for introducing at CES today the electric Silverado, and even more importantly, I believe, to GM's prospects of the future EV race will be the Blazer and the Equinox that were unveiled today. Blazer Equinox apparently going to be available in 2023. The Silverado in 2024.
Wow. And at reasonable prices for the base model.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Reasonable prices. We'll see.
Dealer network.
Dealer may sell for more.
Well, it's off and roll up windows. That'll be $100,000.
Some additional markup may apply. Let's go to another good news story. Let's go to my friend Patrick, who has some good news about, well, just the year end.
That is right. So I have an article here. This is titled 2022 slated to bring steady EV growth, but barriers to buyers linger. This is from the Detroit News by Jordan Grzelewski. Grzyzalewski. And he breaks it down into 6 reasons, although that's not how he did it. They're sprinkled throughout the article, but I'm just going to give you the synopsis here. So we may have a new federal incentive for EVs, but even if we don't, the infrastructure bill that's already passed allocated $7.5 billion to charging and another $7 billion plus for battery manufacturing, materials, and recycling. So those are all going to help the cause. Next on the list was that new EVs are coming, both new brands and new types, like electric trucks. We just mentioned the Silverado. And that opens up EVs to a whole new class of buyer. If you have somebody that's loyal to a particular label and now they're making an electric vehicle, then, if that's what their family's bought for years and they want to stay in that, they can. So 30 new EV introductions are expected this year. Entrants will give consumers more choices and spur competition, the article says. Next on the list was buyers are more interested in EVs than ever. They list a few different sites that have done customer surveys. One of them was Kelley Blue Book, says that 25% of shoppers are now considering hybrids and EVs while shopping. So overall vehicle sales have slumped, EVs have continued to grow. So if you have a dealership and you want to continue to grow, you got to have some EVs on the lot, or you're going to go down as like Blockbuster did. So gas prices charged. Yes, have them plugged in and charged and ready for a test drive. Unlike when I went to try out one of the Mercedes Model B or whatever it was, they were like, "Oh, it's around back and it's not charged up. Sorry."
The tires are flat and it's not charged.
Yeah, they had a charging station and they iced it with their own cars. I mean, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They were not trying very hard. So the dealerships got to step up. Anyway, next on the list was gas prices. They are likely to hit a national average high of $4 a gallon this year, and they went into some of the reasons why and had Gas Buddy on there talking about that. Next, number 5 on this list is new EPA emissions rules are coming, and these are going to push fleet-wide requirements for emissions starting in 2026. So dealerships are going to have to, automakers are going to have to do more than just compliance cars. And so they're going to start that coming now. As we just heard, announcements are coming out because these aren't things you can flip quickly. And all of that just makes more hype and interest and buyer acceptance if the manufacturers are talking about it. Last on the list, experts say that once consumers get into an EV, they are likely to stay in one. And I will attest to that. As I like to say it, once you're in an EV, there's no reverse.
Nice.
That
There you go.
can be taken the wrong way, Patrick.
Right.
Who needs that backup camera? There's no reverse.
Maybe sending the wrong message. But nonetheless, a nice metaphor.
Butts in seats. It makes a difference. When you feel that acceleration and it's the peppiness and they're fun. They are, whether or not they're a Tesla, EVs are just fun.
Yeah, all the people I've heard that did go back were people who overextended their range. Hey, let me buy a Leaf when I've got a 300-mile commute every day.
Yeah, if you buy the wrong car, you're not going to like it. No matter if you buy a sports car and expect to move furniture, it's not going to work, right? So yeah, be smart.
I also heard this week Stellantis announced that the Chrysler division is going to have all EVs, and then they said, and Chrysler has a total of 2 models: the Pacifica minivan and Chrysler 300 sedan. That's their whole product lineup.
Yeah,
but they're going to be 100% EV in
100%.
a couple of years.
Yep.
Stellantis is so just like
they're just trying to keep the brand alive for
I don't even know why. Yeah, I mean, their whole raison d'etre is muscle car, macho.
Oh, but remember, the Dodge isn't making electric cars; they're making e-muscle.
Yeah, e-muscle. Yeah.
They own Maserati too. I mean, yeah, they could make some really cool EVs if they try.
But they won't.
I'm
This is the
excited
same problem Harley has. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
their people are dyed in the wool gas huffers. And because they've spent decades telling their customer base that that's the way to be.
I'm still surprised that Ducati got the Moto E races instead of, because Ducati didn't have an EV I was expecting like Harley or Polaris or somebody who actually had an EV motorcycle to get the contract. But they turned out a very beautiful product that so far appears to perform as expected. So that was a surprise.
Ducati also understands how to make a race bike, which is not really Harley's forte.
Good point.
Yeah, not really Harley's thing. I might be a little biased, but yeah, there you go. And speaking of bias, no. Let's not speak of bias. Let me go. Georgia has a story about strange bedfellows.
I wouldn't say strange bedfellows, but let's say might be a little bit of an uncomfortable neighbor for Tesla, that is. Hey, guess who's moving next door, Tesla, to your gigafactory in Berlin? Why, it's Germany's largest union, IG Metall. And they've already opened up an office next door. They are ready for all those happy Tesla workers to stay happy by joining the union and having an organized workforce. And I am happy for them. I think it's going to be a wonderful, glorious partnership, and I'm sure Elon is really thrilled about that. That they've
What'd
made
be funny is if they join whatever union the Tesla Germany people are already a member of instead of this one.
Hey, works fine. But all it is right next door, and I thought that's something that works. Human psychology goes towards whatever is most convenient.
That'd be quite a snub, really. Like they go through, they make a headquarters, they come right next door to you. Oh no, we're just gonna stick with the one we already have.
It's going to be interesting, though. But they want them to visit. They want them to get more information about job interviews, employment contracts, and everyday work at the plant and other topics. So I thought it was pretty cool. And frankly,
I wonder,
competitive unions are it's an important thing because that means that they never get the chance to sit back, slack, and relax, which unfortunately a lot of unions in America kind of really
competition is always good, even in unions.
Competition, even in unions, because unions are just as much business organizations as the people they negotiate with. So internally, sometimes unions need union slapping to treat their workers right. So
do we know if the Tesla employees in Michigan, like at Tesla Tool and Die, or if they're union or if they not?
Not that I know.
Come on, Tesla Life hosts and panelists.
The former Tesla employee might know.
former Southern California Texas employee, not Tool and Die. Thank you.
Yeah. That's true. They probably wouldn't want you to know if they were in their union. It might get some curiosity going.
What I can testify to is that there's zero cross pollination of knowledge within Tesla. How's that?
That sounds about right. I mean, because they can't even call next door to see if the parts in stock.
I know that Tesla introduced a 401k top up for employees that started January 1st.
Nice. Oh, that's good. Well, the good thing is that when initially Tesla started with Groman Engineering, when they acquired that, Metall is the one who actually fought them because they felt that the incentives were pretty much below par. Tesla met those incentives. Now, the workers did reject Metall at that time and instead formed their own bargaining unit. But I think that the mere fact that there was a little bit of some pushback from Metall says that, yeah, they did exactly what they're supposed to do. They challenged,
even for people who weren't part of their union.
That's right, because honestly, if you let one company produce a crap deal for workers, don't think that other companies won't take that as a sign that
they'll try it.
You're only focused on them, and then when you negotiate, they have their reasons to dig in their heels and not actually work out a real solid deal. And that's it. Let's go on to the next thing, which is more
fun for workers.
Yes, thank you, Georgia. And let's go back to Georgia for our final story tonight. And something near and dear to my heart, little scooters.
Yes.
Yay, scooters.
Full disclosure, I can't even ride a bicycle. So, but my attraction to scooters is ongoing. I don't know. It's why I have cats and like bunny rabbits. It's cute. It's small. It's adorable. I just want it. I can't ride it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But
Are you saying your cats ride scooters in your house?
if I could get them to ride a scooter, my life would be complete. That would be epic. But
You'd have the biggest channel on YouTube.
I really would. It would be
Like,
amazing.
get a little
I just put my
basket in
cats
front of
on
your
some
scooter
freaking
for your
scooters,
kitties.
man. That would be amazing.
You could have a kitty cat delivery
Catsonscooters.com.
service. Yeah.
But sadly, I believe the only way for me to do that is if I either green screen them or did a little Photoshop. So, but let's go on. Yadea, Chinese manufacturer, has come out with a whole bunch of scooters, electric two-wheelers that they showcased at EICMA, whatever. The new models are the Y1S, the G5, and the C1S. And I'm going to show you what they look like.
They're just
I like the
adorable.
Y1S of the three.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's purely on style. I didn't even look at the specs.
Well, let me go with my
It
Chrome
won't do
tab.
it. Let's see if maybe I can be.
Oh, look at that puppy, man. I actually think it's pretty cool.
There we go.
That's the Y1S. This is the G5.
G5, baby.
Yeah, it's not the G6. It is the G5.
They're cute little scooters. I mean,
they are perfectly adorable.
I think
they're
you
also
could give the
doing
cats
other mobility vehicles, but this is definitely up my alley. I think it's pretty cool. And I can't wait to see more of what's going to happen with two-wheel electric vehicles, because the funny thing is that although there's so many bikes and EV bikes and mini scooters and whatnot, I don't really feel like there's as much buzz around something more in line like a Vespa style going up to the motorcycle style. So it would be great to see some more movement in that part of the market. But
who was it, France or Italy, that suggested that when you have a car ad that you should now also suggest walking or riding a two-wheeler? That was that today or this week?
Good idea.
Je ne sais pas.
I do want to say one of the things that attracted me to this story when you posted it, Georgia, the Y1S, look at it carefully for a second, and it is a really outstanding basic design.
It really is.
Bigger wheels, okay? Not the little tiny scooter wheels, bigger wheels, which means it's safer, it's more stable at higher speeds. It has a dual lithium-ion battery pack so that it obviously doubles the range and you can change one pack out or charge it. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on with that. I don't know if we'll ever see it because this stuff never comes to the United States. It always stays in Asia, where, of course, it's socially acceptable to ride scooters, as opposed to here where you're just kind of dog meat.
Well, it does make me curious as to why. I mean, I'm going to guess that's part of the differences in culture, because to me, do you really need a Harley if you're going 15 miles away from your home?
Yes, you do.
Do you have to be the loudest thing on the block, really?
You need a Hummer to get from one end of the mall to the other.
Right. Yeah, we got a couple of cultural things that really mess this up. Like, you can't take a scooter on the freeway. The scooter's limited to 35 miles an hour. It's got this reputation that people who can't get a license are going to have it. Like, say, people who have lost their license for alcohol and driving.
Never heard that one.
It's big in Florida.
Yeah.
Well, it's Florida.
I'll support Casey's broader point, which is that in the United States, we are very vehicle conscious. And if you show up at a job interview and somebody sees you've got a ratty old Prius, they think you're a ratty old human.
Like, you can't even keep your car straight. Look at you.
You are what you drive.
You wear a nice suit. They don't care.
Oh, man. All that status seeking kind of cuts out all the fun of existence.
It's the most ridiculous thing at all. But yeah, I mean, why are scooters so insanely popular in other countries? Because they're sensible. They don't have this macho bullshit that we have.
Whenever I go for a job interview, I wash the car too. I don't just wear something else.
Half of America has winter, and
it's true.
You wouldn't want to be driving a scooter in northern Michigan this time of year.
No.
Well, I mean, I noticed that traveling through the islands, which does speak to Paul's point. where they got like all kinds of cool mini vehicles that fit streets, and it did stuff that an average person needs, as opposed to having an outsized vehicle choice. And I mean, I haven't traveled through the islands in a really long time, but I was completely jealous of the fact that you could get just a cute little van that seats 4 to 6 people, but it wasn't just this big old Econoline.
Key truck.
Yeah.
But you can't get it.
Well, you know, in a lot of countries in Asia, they'll put the whole family on a scooter.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah. It's a little scary having your babies like hanging off the scooter, but
Practically just duct taping themselves into one big mass organism to the scooter, driving along.
But with our vehicle classism, we also do the same thing to anybody who's not riding a bicycle for like sport, which is also unfortunate.
Yes, absolutely. Why are bicycles insanely popular, especially with, you know, and again, Paul's point is valid for the part of the country that it's valid for. There's millions and millions of other people that could be serviced, but e-bikes here are huge. But a lot of it is kids. You see kids going to the beach to surf and on these e-bikes, hauling ass down the road. That's wonderful. I think it's great.
well, and e-bikes you don't need to register, insure, just drive them.
Yep. I mean, if we could take cars off the road and put people on e-bikes and on scooters and stuff, it would be so good. It would cut down on congestion, cut down on pollution. Can't outrun. You know, you can't outrun anything on a scooter. But you know, I'm a big. I used to be a big scooter fan. I still am. I'm just not allowed to have one anymore. So, oh well.
Yeah, K cars are cool, but K trucks and K other like conversions are really cool. I saw this K car camper, which was a unique concept.
Oh, I love those things.
It had like the movable walls and stuff, like the a couple of the like the coffin apartments do. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, I just love the idea of a little micro van that's driven by a 600cc motor. I mean, it's horrible, but how cool is it?
Well, it could be an EV now.
It could be an EV, absolutely. Okay, well, that's it. Let's wrap this up. We have done a fine show. Let's do some shout-outs to go home. I'm going to start with my friend, Mark Coughlin.
Well, I would like to ask you, if you haven't already, give us a double thumbs up like Russell, just like that, in YouTube. That helps us out. Press that subscribe button. That helps us out as well. And you're supporting the show. We appreciate it. It costs you nothing, and it helps us out. Why not join and do so? So thank you very much.
After you hit it twice, hit it one more time so it actually registers.
Right? Yes. It's got to be an odd number. Yes.
Yeah, do not double hit like, because then you go to unlike.
Thank you, Mr. Coughlin. Mr. Green, what's going on your video channel?
So I just made a really nice review, not really a review, kind of like an interview and overview of a Tesla destination charger over at the Palmer House Inn at youtube.com/CaseyGreen, KACEYGREEN. Full disclosure, they're family, but I'd like to do that with some more destination facilities. If somebody's got an interesting location and they want to do an interview, I'm up for that.
See, and I applaud you for doing it and saying, hey, it's family. I'm related, whatever. Okay, that's everything I need to know. You know, like there's nothing wrong with that. That's great, dude.
And where is this inn located?
It's in Falmouth, Massachusetts. So if you want to go to the Cape Cod, they're right there. And at the end, there's a nice little musical performance as well.
It's kind of a long commute for me, but
well, it's a bed and breakfast. So it's something you'll do on a vacation,
so
or
after
actually
driving 30 hours, I could get some sleep and have breakfast. Okay,
exactly. And then I actually used it for my Rivian when I went to go visit the R1T and R1S in New York. I know it's a little bit out of the way, but it worked for me. And
that's beautiful. Excellent. Mr. Guzik, what's going on in Boulder besides fire and wind?
Fire, wind, snow. We've had it all, but life goes on and people are strong and they'll rebound. We're busy as ever fixing cars. Hybrids and EVs still need maintenance. They still break, not as much as gas cars, but we're here if you need us. And we have a couple of cars for sale, but still tight inventory. So hopefully no one needs to buy a car. And unfortunately, probably 1,000 cars were lost in the fires last week in the neighborhood. So
Wow.
that doesn't help the situation in the used car market for people looking. But yeah, check us out, boulderhc.com and boulderh.com.
Thank you so much, Mr. Guzik. Mr. Connor, it's been so long. Are you associated with anything you'd like to talk about?
I am. I am with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. Speaking of Oregon, I want to give a shout out to our state, because now that it's a new year, we have made a new program. And so let me pull up just a couple details. I'll be real quick here. So we have a state incentive for EVs that anybody can qualify for as long as the vehicle price is under $40,000. But there's also additionally it's called Charge Ahead, and it's an additional $25 for people of low and moderate income. Well, as of this year, that program has been doubled, so it's now $5,000. So if you're low or moderate income, you can get $7,500 from the state of Oregon towards an EV, in addition to the federal incentive, which you may qualify for. So if you're low or moderate income, that could be $15,000 off a vehicle in the state of Oregon. So that helps make it affordable for the right people who are actually need the money, which is a great thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And last and definitely not least, Georgia.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us for so long. That means you like us. You really like us. Don't forget, head on over to the Tesla Life. Hit like, hit subscribe, hang out with Mark while he talks all things Tesla. And when you're done with that, come on back over to Casey Green's channel, because he's tinkering with everything regarding Tesla and hypermiling. And, well, we are worried about the AI, but sometimes we're also worried that Casey's going to make something blow up. So hang around, watch that, see what happens. Hit like, hit subscribe. And when you're done with that, don't forget to hit like and subscribe here, because once again, you've been here this long. You might as well give us some kudos. And your likes and your subscription helps this channel grow. Thank you very much. Hope you guys had a fabulous holiday. And don't forget, wear your masks, get vaccinated, get your boosters. Omicron is still sitting out there. Omarion is coming. All right, back to you, Russell.
Thank you so much, Georgia. As always, I want to thank Michael Manring for his amazing theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Buy a song or two or an album. Buy whatever you like. But do support Michael, because he's supported the show since the beginning. By the way, this month is our 11th anniversary.
Wow.
11. Just saying that. So get ready. I don't know what we're going to do. Oh, George, is that a snowball?
No, it's a spiky ball.
Oh, it's a little spiky ball.
Yeah.
I was going to say, where do you get snow in Sacramento?
It was threatening, but no, it's just cold and gross.
There you go. And I want to thank Georgia McKenzie, Mark Coughlin, Patrick Connor, Casey Green, and of course, Paul Guzik for being on this magnificent show. Thank you to Derek. Thank you very much, by the way, Derek. Thanks to JC, or JC? JT24. Holy hell, my brain.
JC doesn't watch this show.
That you know of. And of course, H. Bruce Nelson, who is in there. Thank you for showing up in the chat. Thanks to all of you. You folks are the reason we do the show. Do tune in and find out next week what's going on. Find out what drives us. I think that's good.
Stay safe, everyone.